Well, the WWE is coming back down under, and for the first time ever, Australia is on the road to WrestleMania. Optus Stadium in Perth will be hosting Elimination Chamber next year on Saturday, February 24. And in typical Aussie fashion, when there's something awesome that comes from New Zealand, we will claim it as our own. So it gives me great joy to chat once again to one third of Damage Control. Please welcome back to SEN, Dakota Kai. Dakota, it's great to have you back.
Hi, Nims. How are you? Dude, I'm so pumped right now. And yes, Australia is very much considered my second home, my little home away from home, but I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh, dude, we cannot wait until Elimination Chamber. But before
Yeah,
that, we can't wait to see you back in the ring again because
I
at
know.
least we get at least we get to see you on SmackDown regularly. But just
hmm
wanted to know for all the fans at home and all the WWE universe here in Australia, how is the recovery going on your ACL, and is there a chance you could be back at 100% in time for Chamber?
So recovery is going great. Since, the day after surgery, I've been ahead of schedule and kind of maintaining that. And I think for me, or for any ACL injury, it's about like 8 to 9 months in terms of like when I would be back in the ring. So that is right around January-ish. So fingers crossed. That's all I can say. But yeah, recovery is going great. Obviously, it's great to be at SmackDown alongside the girls, but I really do miss the ring. Yeah.
Oh, and we miss seeing you there. And I don't know how much you know about Optus Stadium in Perth, but it has hosted a Bledisloe Cup game back
Oh,
in 2021. There was about
uh-huh.
50,000 people there. I won't go into the details about the results because, well, let's face it, it was a few
Ah.
but
Uh,
so there's probably going to be about that many people, plus about 20,000 more for Elimination Chamber.
wow.
And you had a pretty big stadium experience at WrestleMania 39 this year. And how do you think it'll be performing in front of a crowd like that, but in our neck of the woods?
Oh my gosh. So WrestleMania this year was insane. Being in front of that many people was a dream, let alone facing two idols that I looked up to when I was, beginning to watch wrestling, and Trish and Lita. So that was insane. But the fact that you know capacity would be coming to Perth and hopefully performing in front of my people, like that's always been a dream to me. And Perth is very close to New Zealand, so it's going to very much feel like a homecoming. But that performing at any show like down under, like a big show like that, has always been a massive, massive dream because yeah, also it's been a while since I've been home, so I'm excited to see some Kiwis and Aussies out there full force.
Well, I know people have been absolutely flooding WWE.com now because you can actually get links to an exclusive Elimination Chamber Perth pre-sale rego and get a passcode. But
Ooh.
but for those that might not know, you actually had a very successful career here in Australia on the independent scene before you actually made it to WWE. I mean, you've
Yeah.
had a handful of matches actually in WA, and that was almost about a decade ago. So, what were
Oh
your
damn.
memories? And I know time does fly.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't it? But what was it like, sort of your experiences the last time you were in WA? I mean, I don't know you're only there for maybe a couple of days or so, but did you have any good memories of Western Australia?
Oh, I do. And I do remember it was at NHPW. Mana, shout out to Mana, miss you. The hospitality there was amazing. We obviously got to hold a koala, and I wasn't there long enough to really take in the sights, but I do remember Perth being absolutely beautiful. I will say, I remember when I was wrestling in front of that crowd that they started chanting "Ba Ram you" at me. So I would like to say that's like from a place of love, but yeah, sheep jokes. I get it. But it was very fun, yeah.
Well, hopefully we've evolved a little bit since then.
I
But
think I've
look,
just given them
let's
the idea.
But no, but a lot has changed obviously since then. And let's quickly
Mhm.
talk damage control for a little bit because I remember I yelled at my TV in shock when you appeared at SummerSlam last year. Like it was genuinely one of the most shocking moments in sports entertainment. And SummerSlam this year, we saw Io
Oh
Sky
gosh.
win the WWE Women's Championship, and you surprised us again
Yeah.
to celebrate with Io and
Tradition.
Bailey. And just looking back, like it has been a hell of a 12 months for you since you came back. I mean, you mentioned before, you were in WrestleMania wrestling with Trish and Lita, two
Yeah.
absolute icons, not just for women's wrestling, but for an entire era of fans
Hmm.
that sort of grew up within that era. And they're two Hall of Famers as well, too. So
Oh my
that's even
gosh.
crazier.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
Mania.
I
So
know.
very,
It's like one thing after the other. What's going
yeah.
on?
And like that's the tip of the iceberg because you also became a two-time tag team champion. You
Mhm.
also made your Royal Rumble debut. You were
Mhm.
even in War Games at Survivor Series. And this is
Yeah,
me summarizing the stuff that you
I
did
know.
last year.
That's actually insane. And I feel like ever since SummerSlam, returning at SummerSlam last year, up until SummerSlam this year, and, the injury aside, it's really been nonstop. Like, we've just been go, go, going. Like, every week there's something. And I really had to force myself to step back and look at what we've accomplished. Like you said, we're at Clash the Castle, we're at Saudi Arabia, we were at so many big shows. It had so many big moments, and like on like most Raw and SmackDown shows, it's it's very overwhelming to see it and step back and actually look at everything that we've accomplished. But I'm very proud, and also to do it alongside Bailey and Io, two women I've looked up to for a long time, um, has been really special.
It's kind of cool to see as well because talking about damage control, I mean, the three, particularly Bailey as well. There's a lot of history with NXT. You
Hmm.
guys had a good chunk of your career of your WWE runs within NXT. So to see all three of you actually sort of graduate to the main roster and absolutely flourish is very, very cool. But it was always amusing to sort of see how Bailey made that transformation from the hugger to this, and
Yeah.
we've always known you as the captain of Team Kick, and now we see you do something completely different. Same with Io Sky, her NXT persona, and now is completely different. You've all evolved and grown so much. Do you ever sort of look back at those NXT days and just appreciate just the sort of things that you accomplished there? Because I know, especially since you're go 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 and you've got a different town each night, yeah,
Hmm.
it's very you sort of get to spend a day in your own home. Do you sort of look back at those NXT runs and think, wow, like I can't believe we were part of something, and now we're just a part of history now?
I do actually, because that time period when we were at NXT, obviously Bailey had moved up to main roster after I had joined NXT, but all of the girls in that locker room at that time, we still now look back on that very fondly, because you had Shayna Baszler, Rhea, Bianca Belair, Io, Candice, Tegan, Mia. You had this really cool locker room of girls, and some of them we've known from before on the independent scene, some we've just met. But I love and cherish that locker room so much, because we all had each other's backs, and we all loved wrestling against each other and telling amazing stories. So I look back on that time very fondly. And like you said, we got to do so many cool things. We had the first ever women's War Games match in 2019, and that was like such a milestone for all of us, and such a big, you know, opportunity. And that match is one of my favorites of all time. I know I wasn't in it, but I had a big moment in it where I turned heel on Tegan. But like that whole group of girls, we're still so close, and that time is very special, yeah, for all of us.
It's very cool because we mentioned attrition leader in that sort of vein of they inspired a generation, and I know that
Yeah.
Indy Hartwell's a prime example of someone that saw Bailey and Sasha Banks in NXT, and that inspired her. Does it give you a little bit of goosebumps that maybe that there's someone back home in Auckland that could be watching on the WWE network a bit of
Oh.
SmackDown and something, and could be thinking, like, what, if Dakota Kai can do this, surely I can do this, because I know that you can only do what you see. So
Mhm.
there is an entire generation of fans out there, and that you potentially could be, leading down the path to become a WWE superstar.
That's really weird to think about. And I know, like, I looked up to, women from like that time too, but it's so strange. Like, I don't see myself in that light, although I am inspiring a lot of people, but it's so weird to put myself in that on that like level. I don't know. I maybe I'm just like too like go 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 that I don't even realize it. But I really do hope that I am inspiring a lot of kids out there. And That is very strange to think about, but yeah, especially if they're from like, Australia, New Zealand, like you guys can do it. Because for me, when I was watching like WWE back in the day, it seems like not achievable. And I don't know if that's because like, we're so far away physically from where it is. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, there's no way I could do that. But like you can, and it is possible if you love it and put the hard work in. So yeah, that's cool to think about though.
It does seem like an absolute pipe dream. I still
Mm.
remember when I was, before I became a proper grown up and I was a kid watching
Nah, being a
wrestling.
grown up's overrated.
But yeah, I remember it used to be think like, oh, that's just so far away. But here we
Yeah.
are. We're on the verge of having a premium live event here in our country. Not just any premium live event, but on the
No.
road to WrestleMania. I mean, there's so much history with Elimination Chamber. But Dakota, I won't keep you too much longer. But on your return, we've seen a lot of championship success for Bailey and
Mhm,
Io Sky. You've been on the shelf a little bit.
mhm.
But when you come back, I know there is an entire SmackDown women's roster that has got, I'm sure, a target on them. What's
Oh,
some of the
absolutely.
what's some of the goals that you have for when you come back and to just dominate on SmackDown again?
Honestly, beyond getting past the point where I can actually wrestle in a ring again, um, I just want to be able to wrestle everyone. Like I that's the only way I can get better, but I feel like I want to start there. Obviously, I'll be loving to look for some gold, some championships at that time, but I really just want to, you know, reunite with Bailey and Io, and we want to go from strength to strength, especially after I'm like good to go. So that's the goal. Damage
Well,
control for life.
Well, we can't wait to see you back on SmackDown in action once you're healed up. But just a reminder to WWE Elimination Chamber Perth is at Optus Stadium next year, Saturday, February 24th. You can head to www.com, follow the links to register for an exclusive pre-sale passcode so you can get your tickets before the general public. Dakota Kai, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat to you once again on SEN. We cannot wait to see you in this part of the world for 2024 for the Chamber, and hopefully we get to chat soon.
Dude, what is that sentence? Yes, let's go. Thank you, Nins.